Good morning. Good morning. Welcome in. Welcome to the Reset Room. My name is Rhonda. This is where we talk about all things life and career resetting, depending on sort of where you are in your journey. If you're thinking about changing jobs, leaving the job you're in, changing careers and fields altogether. If you're content where you are and looking to just get elevated, paid, and promoted, we talk about all of that as well. And more recently we've been talking about taking our knowledge and talents and everything that we know and that we're great at and packaging them into offers and digital products and just other ways to make money outside of that 9 to 5. So welcome in. So today, I want to dive into a couple of things. We're definitely going to start with digital products. A lot of people have been saying, like, they've been hearing, like, get into digital products, digital products, but they don't really understand what that is and what that means. So I'm definitely going to dive into that. And kind of get through it and also talk through, I'm in the middle of a career reset of my own. And I'm talking through some of the bumps and hurdles with that, so that I can share sort of what I'm learning and moving. I've worked for myself, many times. I had my own firm for 7 years, so I'm not new to working for myself and consulting and doing all the things that I teach about. But what is new is at this stage. And so, just have a lot to share with folks and wanted to do that. I'm trying to still figure out this morning live situation. I used to actually go live in the evening, and I should have got up earlier this morning, so that's real. Because my goal was to be on at 6. Y'all, listen, I was trying, but it is cold. It is freezing here. I'm in New York. It is freezing. Snow is everywhere, and I just could not get up. But here I am. Welcome in. If you're new, my name is Rhonda. Welcome to the Reset Room. This is where we talk about all things career and life resetting, no matter sort of where you are in your journey. If you want to make a change but haven't yet, being stuck, we talk a lot about that, because I find and have found that women, for some reason, we stay stuck a whole lot longer than men for a number of reasons. And we dive into sort of talking about the whys of that. And I definitely wanted to get into that today. And it was interesting because I started talking with folks a couple days ago about digital products, and someone was like, oh, I really want to understand what that is and how to do it. And like, this isn't the first time we've covered this here in the Reset Room. And what was interesting, we had a group where we were in on Tuesdays. We were real time creating our digital products. We were fleshing out our ideas. Folks had questions. They had time to come up on the panel, do Q&As, and really flesh out the products. And so after each live, there would be homework, right? Okay, if you're building this thing, it's a continual process. It can't stop and start. So we had 5 folks who were working on their products. And guess what happened? At the end of that series we did, just take a guess how many people finished their products. Take a wild guess. A big fat 0. And it isn't to shame anybody. It's just really talking about like how we get ourselves stuck and how we often stay stuck. And so something that I have just been so passionate about is trying to move the needle, particularly with women on that. Like for men, they do not have that same problem. In my course, I teach this, and I've talked about it here. There's this segment called Think Like a Man at Work. And this is what this means. A man will look at a job description, a posting for a job, will have 0 qualifications, and will apply for that job. And in a lot of cases, he will get the interview. And even in some cases, he will get that job. Now, there's a lot to be learned there. And it's about the confidence, one, and the fact that he just took an action. And that is the difference, where what we do as women, on the other hand, we will look at a job posting and maybe we have 8 out of the 10 qualifications that they're looking for, and we won't even apply. And that's where we stall ourselves. And that's where we, get stuck and not taking that action. And that's the difference. And so that's what I call this series. It's like Think Like a Man at Work. And like another analogy, like we knock on the door, men kick the door in. Like it's their whole positioning, it's their posture. And probably the most important thing is that they actually take action. And like over the last, I'm going to say 20 years, I've had to do that. And I think part of why I've been able to do that is that I've had great male mentors. Going back to the 90s, when I left my hometown, grew up in a small town, and only myself and one other cousin, like willingly and knowingly left that town, wanting a better life and a bigger life, a larger life. But yeah, when I did that move in the 90s and moved, hey, Michelle, moved away, 1,000 miles away from home, and found myself again. Good morning. How are you? Yeah, thank you for that, Heart Me. Yeah, having great male mentors. And, when you have that continual guidance from them, because again, they're going to take action. Like they're going to do the thing. They're going to do the brave thing. They're going to do the thing that probably many of us women won't do. And that's why I call that series Think Like a Man at Work, because it is really, truly, it's that. It's when, it's time for us to step up and step out and do the things we've been scared to do. So with that, hey, yeah, with that, I'm moving to that next step and next phase, moving back into consulting, working back for myself. I'm going to be here in New York another 18 months and then heading to my retirement place of city. Still deciding where that is. I thought I was sold, but now I realize I'm not. So the Charlotte, North Carolina area has always been the number one spot for me. Thank you, Michelle. Has always been that number one spot for me. And then listen, so the place that I always wanted to live, and oh no, baby, the numbers may say what they say, but I look and feel, I would say 30. Let's not get crazy. I'll say 38 if I'm remembering my 30s. Yeah. But moving back into working for myself is sort of the main goal. And then getting out of the North. It's cold and I'm tired of being cold. So it's just time. But with that, moving back into working for myself. But even I think back to when I first went into business for myself, which was in 2006. It wasn't actually at my own urging and doing. I was working a regular 9 to 5 like most of us. And the owner of that company, she decided she was a hot mess, y'all, hot mess. And we couldn't keep people because she was a hot mess. And so what she decided to do was basically get rid of the office and hire all consultants. For one, it's limited time and interaction because basically anyone that was gonna survive with her, you needed to spend as few as the least amount of time with her as humanly possible. And so she offered to all the employees the option, like you could stay if you could figure out what you do, like what the work we did for her, and if there was a way to package that into a consulting offer. And so I did that. And so I ended up, I feel like the retainer, because it's a long time ago now, I feel like I may have given her maybe 20 hours a week. So I got to keep the things I love doing, got rid of the things I didn't. A lot of my work naturally went away because there was no physical office. So we all went home to work remotely. And guess what? That was in a time when, this was, like I said, this was 2006. So remote work was just not even really a thing and definitely not common at that point in time. And we were in Atlanta. If you're familiar with Atlanta, we were in Buckhead, which is a super expensive part of town. But yeah, for me, it was I was giving her 20 hours. And then I incorporated, started my own business and began to, shop my offer to other business owners. in my experience in Atlanta, I had worked with a lot of founder-led companies. So like her, like the first job when I left my hometown and moved to Atlanta was another, two founders had started this company. And what I learned there, I really, we talk about niching down here on the platform, but I really created a niche and discovered the niche is that founders that start their companies, like they're passionate and knowledgeable about the field that they're in. So like one was in PR, public relations, and so great at that, but didn't know how to run a business. The others were, this was a fundraising business. So one was an IT guy, one partner was an IT guy. So I worked with him on system stuff. And the other one was like running the, sales and operations and running sort of the office. But again, still not really understanding like, okay, you've got to hire people and how to do that. So that became my niche. I actually sought out companies that were small and that were ran by founders, and simply because I knew that there would be gaps there that I could help fill. And that became my business. And I worked for myself for 7 years in Atlanta from 2006 until I moved here to New York in 2013. And it was amazing opportunity. The beauty of that is that, guess what? If you don't like the clients you're working for, you can fire them. I had agreements and all of that. Like we would do, in my agreements, I always had a 60-day exit. So if I wanted to, release them, or if they wanted to release me, we would have to notify each other at least 60 days in writing to give us both time to, them to replace me, and for me, I need to replace that income if I was getting rid of them as a client. And so that sort of worked. But I think why I didn't sort of stay in that position of being stuck was because I had good male mentors around and who kind of urged me to do a thing. And then I think about prior to that, actually, I was thinking about this morning. I was at that first job with my male mentor, and there was sort of nowhere to go. Like it was 3 years in, I had a small company, I had learned everything. I was his right hand, all that was working well. And I felt like I just needed to change and wasn't sure what that change needed to be. If I wanted to get a different job, if I wanted to finish my master's. I had started my master's years ago when my girls were younger, and just life with young kids just didn't finish. And sort of deciding which to do. And I remember talking to my husband, and he was like, look, I'm tired of hearing you talk about it. Just pick one. I don't care which one of you do. Just do something. And of course, I was annoyed instantly, but he was actually right. Like, I think women stay stuck because we stay so much in our head, thinking and rethinking about the thing we woulda, coulda, shoulda, wish we had done that we just don't end up doing. But yeah, and it was since that point, when I feel like I'm in that place, I go back to hearing that voice, like make a decision, pick something, do something. And the beauty is that, okay, if you pick a lane and, it works well, great. If it doesn't necessarily work well, or you don't achieve the results that you're looking for, you can always start again. Thank you, Michelle. You can always start again. And so that's sort of the beauty of just, being able to just doing the thing, actually just stepping out and doing something, and actually doing something. So yeah, that's kind of where I kind of wanted to talk, because so many got stuck. Like I said, of those 5 people, and I even see them now roaming the streets, and sometimes they'll pop in here and I'll say, so how's the digital product going? They're like, oh, Rhonda, I'm not done yet. And like, why? Like literally you can do it in a couple of hours and it doesn't have to be perfect. And we get stuck for so many reasons. We get stuck for fear, fear of failure, that we're going to fail and that things aren't going to work out the way we planned. And guess what? And sometimes they don't, but guess what? Think about how you'll feel if it does work out the way you want it to, and that you're successful at it. Like I just dove into something new for me, which is affiliate marketing. I've never considered myself to be a salesperson. And so that's new for me. It's different, sort of like pitching yourself to the world. but learned sort of how to do it my way, which is more conversational and just talking to people and talking about results and like how you achieve the things that you do. And sales came in naturally. And so that's again like something that had I shied away from it and stayed stuck in, I'm not a salesperson, I can't do that, I never would have realized that. And so that's for me is sort of why I'm here. When I think about like my story and why I came to TikTok, and it's almost, wow. So July 30th was the first day where I've had a TikTok account for years, doom scrolling during COVID and the pandemic, like everyone else, is when I created an account, but just really just doom scrolling, just watching and laughing at all the things that I found funny. And, but it wasn't until July 30th where I started to take it seriously. And that's when, I said, okay, TikTok is a platform. Platforms are used to, what is a platform? It's something you stand on to elevate. And so I said, okay, now's the time to switch it as that and to create it to do that. And that's what it's really become. For me, it's been a place to create impact, to share all of the knowledge. And I've done so many different things in my life, primarily working in HR and operations and systems and strategies for companies. But through that, I've learned so much and just have so much to share, and felt like content was a way to do that in a great way. And so that's what I've sort of done. I was actually just looking yesterday at my content because I have quite a few viral videos. So for TikTok, a viral video is any video with more than 1,000 views. And I have a lot of those. And I was talking with a large creator who gets thousands of views on her, thank you, Michelle, who gets thousands of views on her videos. And I had a consultation with her on content because I thought I was pretty good at it, but it's not consistent. Like I have one video now that I posted over a week ago now that's still moving, and it's close to 250,000 views right now. And it's still moving. Like people are still reposting it, because that was one thing I did differently in that piece of content. My call to action was repost this, so that it was on interview tips, so that you can share this interview tips with others. And everyone wants to, be that person, be benevolent to help one another. And so that truly was effective because like I said, I get a few comments, but mostly I'm seeing the reposts, which means that video is still moving. And so I've gained like 2,000 followers because of that one piece of content. And so I decided last night, let me look at all of my content. And so what this large creator said to do, Michelle, this might be helpful for you too. Look at all your posts, the ones that have the most views, recreate those, different clothes, different setting, same message. You may tweak the words, but clearly the views are telling you what people want to hear and learn about. Yeah. So I printed that list. I screenshotted them all yesterday. So I'm going to print them all today and then go back and truly look at the analytics, because the analytics gives us so much information on just like when people dropped off. No, it wasn't Mish actually, which, I love Mish and I spend time with her, but this was, It's Me, Katie G. Yeah, she's here on TikTok. It's Me, Katie G. If you look at her, and it's Katie, it's Katy. If you look at her page, you will see that she has thousands. Yeah, Katie. Yeah. And so she has consultations. And for me, like content for me is sort of, because I've seen like each piece of content that went, oh, okay. Yeah, I love her. Yeah, she's on early mornings. Each piece of content that I did, when I look at the analytics, I gained a bunch of followers. And so that's just more eyeballs on you, more people that you can, offer your services to. And so I looked at that because I'm getting, like I said, each piece of content, is like, if not hundreds, up to thousands of new followers. So clearly content is king. Yeah. And that's exactly what she told me. And it was so funny. We got on the call and she says, okay, so what do you want to talk about first? I said, these views. And she's like, your views aren't broken. You are. I'm like, Katie. She said, seriously, a couple things she told me. One, she said, is definitely do that. Like find your videos that performed well and just basically recreate those over and over. The other thing she told me is to stop being the sweet HR lady and give it to people raw. Now, I'm not generally that person, so I'm going to have to experiment with that. But so I'm, and she said, like, and so what she said is that she said, you're not bold enough. And I was like, well, what do you mean? She said, well, let's keep talking. I'm sure it'll come out. And this is how it ended up coming out. She was asking me like, what am I talking about now? And I was like, basically creating additional revenue streams because I'm calling it the AI revolution because it will truly change the work world in a huge way. And so she was like, why should people care about AI? And I was like, well, because if they don't, like, they're going to find themselves out of a job or underemployed, working part-time or maybe out of a job altogether. If they're lucky, knock on wood, they'll still, keep their full-time jobs if they have them. And she says something like, okay, and so what? What if I don't care? I said, listen, I don't give a shit. I don't care if you care or not. I'm going to be in a year and a half. I'm going to be sitting on a beach somewhere with my laptop making money. And you're going to be, I should have listened to that lady on TikTok. And she said, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's the person that needs to be creating content. I was like, okay, I got it. And so she said, this is the place for that. Hey, Sharon, welcome in. She said, TikTok is the place for that. You have to be, if you're here to create a platform, if you're here for fun, do your thing. But if you're truly here for the business side of TikTok, you have to put it out there bold. You got to hook the people, not just in the words on the screen, but also what you're saying. That's our main goal, is to stop the scroll, to get them to stop and to take some form of an action, So I think I'm going to try that repost CTA a few more times, because like I said, that video, it was this Thursday, it'll be 2 weeks and it's still moving. Like I'm still, getting likes on it, and folks are still reposting it. So, okay, it's like, okay, lesson learned. So so I'm going to work on this week, crafting some sassier, bolder content, but going back to those viral videos and again, recreating the message in a different way. And she said, do that for 14 days and just see how it goes, and then see which ones really performed well. And what she said she does, which never even thought about it, but it makes perfect sense. She has like 4 or 5 in rotation topics. And if it's like for me, if it's interview tips one day, if it's digital products one day, if it's, getting paid and promoted, if it's interview tips, like you have your one viral messaging and you just rotate them every days, every 4 or 5 days, and whatever that rotation looks like. Yeah. Cause I've done me too, Michelle. Like I've done for CTAs, like I've done the follow me. And here's the thing, like what I found with the content, I don't need to say follow me because they like the message. They just generally do. So for me, what I was having too, I was struggling initially with not having comments. Like people would like and save, and sometimes repost, but no comments. So that, for the algorithm, they're looking for engagement on your content. So you need people to be commenting. So then I started asking, put, the word elevate, in the comments if you're ready to, blah, 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 whatever the thing is. And so that has helped too to drive. Yeah. Asking questions. Have you done polls, Michelle? I've been thinking about that. Like doing polls. They said that helps too, because people are interested in, clicking the button, and they don't have to do much, but it still counts as engagement on the content. So I'm going to try a couple different things and just kind of, see how it goes. But definitely studying those viral videos. So, this is a whole new reset for me doing this whole content world. And doing that. Okay. But and then like I said, getting into digital products. So I'm gonna do that and spend some time working on that and just persevering. So I started posting content July 30th and went live and just studied content for 3 months before I even went live. I went live for the first time. Oh wow, tomorrow is 3-month anniversary. It was October 29th was the first day that I went live. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna do 100 days of live battle for February, maybe February 9th. Yeah, to just sort of celebrate doing that. I know, right? That's like an achievement. 'Cause it's for folks that don't do it and maybe don't understand. This is like going live. It's work. For me, I prepare. It's like, I mean, I'm a corporate trainer, part of my job at work, so I created like I'm doing a training class, like literally. Like I have notes, I have a curriculum. Yeah, it is. It's you gotta plan for it. I think it's easier for those folks that do like engagement rooms than for those of us that are teaching. Yeah, exactly. Me too, Michelle. Yeah. We have to. I think it's so easy. It's so much easier for them, like I said, if they have an engagement room where they can just, hey, grab this one, grab that one. And some do teach, on all things TikTok and how to monetize, but a lot of them just aren't. Hey, the short stuff. Welcome in. Thank you for the heart me. A lot of them don't. They're just like they're engaging. But yeah, if you're truly teaching, yeah, you got to have an outline. You got to prepare. What are you talking about today? How are you going to do the thing? And all of that. But no, it's good. I can't complain. It's been a journey, but yeah, it'll be 90 days tomorrow. Wow. Um, and yeah, and I shift from the night lives for me. Katie would tell me my page is out. Oh, yes. Yeah, because she does. But yeah, like I'm niche down pretty hard. So I mean, there isn't a whole lot of wiggle room there, and I think it kind of depends. I know people say that no niche is a thing. I don't know that that's a thing. Depending on what you want, what you came on here to do. Like if you're thinking about brand deals, you've got to be niche down, because how is a brand gonna know? Like they look at your page and was like, well, who's her customer? So I guess it depends on what you want to do, Michelle. Like if you're here to just have a good time, maybe do shoppables or something like that, then I think it's okay that your page is kind of all over the place. Like for me, part of me coming was brand deals. So I knew that I needed to niche down really, really well. And have done that and just have started my brand deals journey now, just created my media kit, which actually I have to update it because this new video that just went viral have taken my impressions to over 1 million. Yes, I am working on that today. Actually, I'm looking for my media kit now. Where is it? But yeah, when I did this, gosh, when did I do it? I did it early December. Right, my impressions were like 855K. And that's like your view. That's everything. That's your views, reposts, comments, shares, likes, all of the things. But yeah, with this video, which is close to 240K views, yeah, it's pushed it over to 1 million. So I definitely want to update that media kit and get it out there. Yeah, and I'm actually applying for some brand deals. I'm on some websites where you register, you create your profile, and one, it can be passive, meaning that brands can find you there, but then you can also actively apply for campaigns. So I went into all the AI ones because I'm so fascinated. Fiverr, no, Canva. Yeah, I did it on Canva. There's so many templates. Like if you just go in the template section of Canva and say media kit, you're going to see a gazillion templates and just find one that you like. I'm looking, where is mine? I'm trying to find it. So I can show you, but yeah, it's, yeah, pretty darn awesome. But yeah, no, it was great. And it didn't, I mean, it took a few hours. Like, and the great thing about TikTok is that they give you all your data. Like, so everything for the most part, you're going to find when you go into your post section and do view like all your posts. And I did a 365. I haven't been here a year, but it's at least going to show me that. Where is my baby? And my brand kit. I got so many folders of stuff. Oh, it's in a folder because I need to update it. Yeah, let me see if I can easily put my hand on it. But yeah, no, Canva, they're so great. What did you So you really need to have it when brands reach out to you. So if you don't have it, hey Ros, hey Levi, oh, you put your name on there. Okay, hey Rosalind, welcome in. Good morning. Yeah, you want to have it. So if a brand reaches out to you, thank you for the heart, me. If a brand reaches out to you, and the first thing they're going to ask you for is a copy of your media kit, your brand kit. And if you don't have that, what that really tells them, it tells them a few things. It tells them that you kind of don't know what you're doing in this space because you should have that, and that you don't know what the pricing is and that your value is, because in the brand kit you're clearly stating. That's why I'm gonna find it, y'all. It's in my desk here somewhere. I think it's in a folder because I was gonna work on updating it. But yeah, like your pricing, because it's clear, like right on the brand kit says exactly what your pricing is for posts and for everything. I know it's probably in this stack of papers I'm looking at right now. So let me just, oh yeah, there it is. In the Creator Empire Academy, in the program, there's so much in there, but so here it is. And it's a one pager. Like, I did a 2-pager. I'll talk about that in a second, but here it is, if you can see it. So it's just me, my picture. Here's my niche, women in business. This is just a little snapshot of sort of who I am. I'll just read. It says, I'm an HR strategist, leadership coach, and the creator of the Reset Room, a space on TikTok where I help women transform their careers, reclaim clarity, and reset their lives with confidence and emotional intelligence. And this is, remember, this is written for a brand. With my trusted guidance, they achieve life and career transformation. With 18 plus years in HR, advising CEOs, executives, and leaders, I translate corporate wisdom into content that is warm, relatable, and actionable. So this, again, that's for brands. And then it's numbers. So like these were my followers at the time, which I have to update that because I think I'm at 17K now because of that one post. My impressions, well, that's average reach was 855K then. And I think when I just glanced the other day, it was like 1.3 million. So I definitely want to update that. So what your engagement is everything, not the views. So it's basically taking this 855, taking out all the views and what's left. So for brands, that's like, they want to understand the people that actually interacted with your comment, not just looked at it, but actually commented, shared it, reposted it, saved it. So that's the reach. That's the engagement there. And then impressions is basically, this percentage is really just taking this number divided by the number of days to get to, and anything over 30% is great. So I was at this, when I made this, I was at 45%. And then the rest is just demographics, but you're really telling them like what you're charging. So you're clear as to, so I'll read it. So like social media posts, I have 500. Tutorials, because of the work I do, 750. Product placements, $500. Workshops, 2,000. And yeah, I have a proposal I need to respond to now on that. Try on hauls, 600, and swatches and blogs, 550. And so like you have to pick brand categories. Hey, Doc Glow Up. Welcome in, brand categories. So I have career and productivity tools because I work remotely for the most part and use all kind of software and systems. So that's one category of brands I'm interested in. Tech tools and equipment, only because I've got probably every computer brand of computer, speaker, mic, headset, from between my work computers, my personal computers, Mac, all the things. I have, as another brand category, mental wellness and emotional intelligence, because so much so for me, I wanted to attract brands like Calm and Headspace and Talkspace. Like Talkspace is even one that I use myself. So I'm gonna talk to my therapist, like connect me with who I need to talk to there. And then I have lifestyle and self-care. So it's all of the things. It's sort of who you are, what your niche is, your contact info, all of your data, your pricing, and then your demographics, who you reach. So for me, 83% of my community is 25 to 55. 97% are US based, 79% are women, and 73% work and career related. So basically, yeah, and you would use the same thing for UGC. So the difference is, so there are some UGC websites where, So a couple things. So some of the brands want you to make the content and have it live on your site. And then a lot of them, to your point, UGC, they just want the content and then they market it all over the world. So even with that, there are two different pricing. So there's the price, like I said, social media post 500. That's just for me to create the content. If they then want to use it for a year or two, then that's another price on top of that. So that's called the usage fee. So yeah, so when you're doing your UGC, it's that. So yeah, each offer is different. You have to read each campaign. So one thing I did that was sort of a, because I'm just that person. I'm like the extra credit girl. And I was reading that this would be good is I made what I'm calling it an impact testimonial sheet. So I took some of my like most impactful comments and actually just made a sheet here. And I love the little light bulb moment. Like this was their light bulb moment. So I used the light. Oh, UGC. Hold on, let me grab that. UGC is user generated content. So that's where you're making the content and the brand is going to market it and use it in their marketing all over. Like you see this a lot with, particularly now I'm thinking about Doc Glow Up, your niche. I see this a lot. And actually I applied for, because I'm on a GLP-1 journey too. And Zepbound had a brand deal that I just applied for. So yeah, and so you will see you will create that video and they'll use it on all of their socials. They'll use it on their website. So that's user generated content. You're making the content for them to use, but they're paying you to do it. So for me, like that was part of why I came on the platform and how we got into that. Doc Glow Up. Michelle was saying her niche, her page is sort of all over the place. And I said that isn't necessarily a problem. If you're really looking for brand deals, you want to be more niche down. See, Michelle, I didn't say did I say you were all over the place? I'm sorry. No, Michelle said it differently. Michelle said, my page is a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And that's fine. But if you're if you want brand deals, you want to niche it down just a bit, because a brand would look at your page and they don't know what to do. They don't know who your customer is. So they don't know how their brand can fit. So that's the benefit of niching down. Again, if you're interested in brand deals. If you're not, like if you're doing shoppables and you're doing, like Michelle said, a little bit of this and a little bit of that, it may not be as important to niche down. Yeah. So that's sort of like for me, like I said, that was one of the main focus, wanting brand deals, wanting to monetize. Something you can do now, Michelle, in the TikTok platform is the creator marketplace. If you go into TikTok Studio and then, you monetization, creator marketplace is TikTok's own built-in, basically brand deal section. You go in there, you set your pricing in there. You can pick your categories that you're interested in, and then brands can message you right through TikTok too. Yeah, that's true. No, definitely true, Michelle, but they need to understand, you're right, with user generated content, right? But they need to look at your page and understand who if your customer is their customer. So if you go into, let me get my backup and show you where it is. Oh, I hope I can get to it because my backup. I don't have too many followers over there. Oh no, it's there. Okay, so you go to TikTok Studio. And then actually for me, it's the first one right here, Creator Marketplace. Hopefully you can see that, Creator Marketplace. You go in there and you can set up everything. You can set up your pricing. I'll tell you what's there. So you set up your profile, like who you are, what brand you're looking for. This is TikTok. No, this is in the TikTok app. So go to TikTok Studio first. And then on the monetization section, you'll see Creator Marketplace. And that's basically TikTok's brand deals section. So go there, you can set up your profile, and it's probably a good place to start. Like because then you don't need to go out and create the media kit right away. I use this because I'm marketing, in other places. But to use the Creator Marketplace, I didn't have to update my media kit. You put everything in, put your pricing in there for posts. how much you want. Yeah, you can, and then it's portfolios. You can upload 12 of your most impactful videos. So that way, when brands go in here, and I'm sure they probably pay TikTok a service to be able to access this, but they'll see your profile, but they also can see 12 videos. So I put, of course, all my videos that had mega reach, that had the most views. And necessarily it doesn't have to be about views. Like you want to pick your most impactful videos. And so it doesn't necessarily mean about views, because if you're talking to that brand's customer and that, your message resonates with them, then they're going to think, okay, this can be a good person to promote our product. Go in there, yeah, and just try that, Michelle. Start with there to create a marketplace. I mean, I haven't gotten any hits on it yet. And then also, not sure if you have an email address in your bio on TikTok for brands. Don't make it don't make it the email address that's connected to your TikTok account, because they say the hackers are just doing all the things and using that to get into people's accounts. So I created a new email address. It's called like Career Reset Rhonda at Gmail. And that's what's in my bio now. And so like I get emails now from brands directly. Yeah, so do that, and take a look at my profiles. It's short and sweet. Like I'm clear about what I do. My live time is there, and most importantly, that collab email address is there for brands. And like I said, I do get emails. I check that email every day, and there's messages for different things. Not everything is things I want interested in or want to do. And what you'll get initially, because I got this initially too, I got a lot of brands that are what do I want to say? Like product. And I'm fine with that. Like they're giving you the free product to do a piece of content. Like I'm fine with that, especially if it's something that I like. Like I love earrings. So one was an earring brand. And so I looked at their website, like their earrings range, their costume jewelry, but they range between like $50 and $75. So I know that that's a good quality product. So yeah, so like I was like, okay, yeah, boom. Okay, yeah, send me the earrings. I'll do the content. I wear them anyway. What I probably will do is like how I'm wearing them now, see how these are shaking. This isn't one that I have a deal on, but I would do something like this. I would wear them in a live. I would make a clip of that and do a voiceover, and boom, there's my content, So there's just two ways to skin a cat. Hey, Life with Ben. Oh, wait, it went too fast. Welcome in. Yeah, so Life with Bento? Welcome in. But yeah, that's a way to, yeah, okay. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just try it and kind of see how it goes. Yeah, it's been like I said, I'm just starting. There's one doctor in Australia that actually reached out to me from one of Michelle, you've been hanging out for a while. Thank you, friend, for the support. Title Gifter, 100 minutes on the live. And was that the number ones? Oh, first month. Awesome. Yeah, like I have a doctor in Australia who reached out to me who has created an app to help women manage their healthcare. And she gave me the software fee, which I like this, to test it out and see if I think it's valuable and something that I would be comfortable promoting. And so I love that approach too, because it's just not, for her, it's not just about numbers. Like she wants to introduce the app in America. Hey, Coach D, welcome in. And she's working with, wants to work with different folks to be able to, one, like I said, to really validate the app, or like looking at it and say, oh, this doesn't really work for me, or maybe it does. And how she came to the creation of this app is that she would often, like, women would come into the doctor's office and, just catching up, like if it's 6 months. So, how have you been feeling the last 6 months? And then it's like, let me think. Oh, wait, there was something a while ago. Oh, I didn't write it down. And so, and what she found, which I know this to be true from being a mom, my girls are adults now, but when they were younger, we're so focused on making sure our partner's health and that they're going to doctor doing their thing. We're making sure that the kids, that everything, we're checking all the boxes. We're writing everything down for everybody else but ourselves. And so, being a doctor, dealing with this every day. Hey, Trump. She wanted to create this app because she kept getting the same stalled questions over and over. Yeah, but even with that, Michelle, like what she's saying, what she likes is um I like the app because it's ongoing. Like if you see your doctor 6 months, Michelle, you're not gonna remember like every little thing that made you say, I need to ask her about this when I see her, 6 months ago. Like you're just not gonna retain all of that. So in the app, it's kind of like a diary, if you will. Like if you got a little ache over here, you can open up the app and say, what's today, January 28th. A little tingle over here in my, right thigh. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so that's why she designed this app. So I have yet to download it. I got to download it though, and test it out. I told her what she wants me to test it for like 30 days and see if what I think of it, like give her honest review. If there's any tweaks I think that might be more appealing, because she's in Australia, so she doesn't, she's not here in the US. And we do things a little differently over here. And she just really wants to make sure that it's going to be appealable. Appealable. That is not even a word, Rhonda. that there's appeal for the American market. Yeah, and they probably do have something out there. I think for her, from a marketing standpoint, because she's a doctor, I think a couple things. For one, she would be able to connect with other doctors. It's my doctor's office where they have the video screens where they're running promos and rolling promos. So I think versus like pharmaceuticals, because that's usually what we see running on those screens is, them promoting their expensive medication. But yeah, so I'm going to do that. But yeah, just like I said, just set yourself up. Start with the Creator Marketplace, use that, see how it goes. And like I said, if you want to, go out to Canva, look at media kits and kind of see, get ready for work. Me too. I'm going to do that too. I am. Thank you so much for hanging out. And definitely all the questions help to, kind of drive the flow. I wasn't going there today, but I love talking about brand deals. And just sort of, not just the brand deal itself, but it's the positioning. It's like how we market ourselves here on the platform, how we use the platform. You have a blessed day too, Michelle. See you soon. How we use the platform, and thinking about TikTok as just that. It's a platform. And we were talking about, for those of you that are new to come in, let me reintroduce myself. My name is Rhonda. I'm a career reset coach. What does that mean? I help people change jobs, change careers, level up at work, get paid and promoted. Lately, the last, probably 2 months now, we've been talking about creating additional revenue streams. And packaging like what we know, knowledge, either into a course and offering a digital product, something that you can sell, that's yours, that you own. And for a number of reasons. One, just to have that additional revenue stream, but also thinking about, like I said, I've been in HR for, I was thinking about this now, HR operations, systems and strategies, 25 years now. And the world of work is changing, and particularly with AI and technology, like the changes are happening fast. And we're going to begin to see layoffs, and because companies are making decisions, I'm just one person in one city in one company, but I'm looking at AI technology and, talking with our CEO that, okay, like, so this is how like the thought, like fast forwarded for me, so many reasons. So in October of 2024, not sure if many of you seen it, Oprah did a documentary. It was with ABC called AI and the Future of Us. And in that documentary, they talked about just all the technology advances, and they're great from a technology standpoint and efficiency standpoint. Towards the end of the interview, Bill Gates was one of the panelists, and Oprah asks him, so I understand all the technology, it sounds great, but what will this do to the average American? And, he's visibly uncomfortable answering the question. And he basically says, like, full-time work will be a thing of the past. Like, most people will probably be working 3 days a week because the technology advances will shrink, like, our workloads. And she's like, well, if people are only working 3 days a week, then and that may sound good in theory, right? But who's paying us for the other 2 days? And he basically says something like the government will have to step in to help supplement the income of Americans when this happens. And that for me was like, I'm not relying on them. I am not relying on them to support me. And so that's when, for me, so that was October of 24. And so it was over the summer, this past summer of 25, where I started thinking about and making my plan to move back into consulting. So what I'm seeing in my space, so in my at my company, I'm our chief HR officer and I'm also our chief operating officer. So that means I oversee all the people stuff and then the finances and operations. So with that though, what I'm seeing at my level is jobs are even shrinking. So what is happening? So I had started looking at some CEO positions, and then I realized that I'm in the nonprofit space right now. I've been in nonprofits now for 13 years. So the whole time I've been in New York. And nonprofit CEO jobs they're like hundreds of them available. And I was like, why? Like, why are they still vacant? They can't find people. First of all, working in a nonprofit, like it's service related, right? So you're going to work harder probably than you're going to work in a for-profit company, and the money is going to be smaller because it's nonprofit. They just don't have that kind of money. Now I'm in New York. I mean, so I'm paid pretty well, but comparatively, if I took my same titles and went to a for-profit company, my salary would easily go up $150,000. Like, no lie, seriously. And I'm paid well, but I would be paid even better if I worked in a for-profit company. So for me, I was like, and then I started doing some research and then started talking to recruiters. I mean, I'm in HR space. I know people that do everything in our field. Hey, Shatavius, welcome in. Started asking like, why are there so many vacancies? And we was saying that basically like folks in their 30s or 40s who are like your potential CEOs, they don't want to work in nonprofit for that low pay, for that the work is heavy, for the heavy workload. So what has happened at the C level, they are creating what they're calling fractional positions. So like fractional HR officer, fractional CEO, fractional operating officer. And what that basically means is that they've chopped the job up into specific skill sets. And I was like, ding, 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 ding. So for me, from a consulting standpoint, that's where I'm going to move back into next year when I retire out of full-time work, is being a fractional. And I can do any of those. I can be a fractional CEO, I can be a fractional COO, and I can be a fractional HR officer. So I can do all the things. So that's where I'm looking to working on doing that work now, creating my website, marketing myself on LinkedIn. I'm starting to blog on LinkedIn to get my name back out there in the consulting space because I haven't worked for myself in 13 years since I moved to New York. But yeah, and so that's a change that's happening out of necessity. That's not even an impacted AI change, but what I see happening, particularly also in the nonprofit space, what's going to happen is that if the government truly has to help supplement the income of Americans, that money has to come from somewhere. So government funding and government contracts, which is how most nonprofit agencies are funded, those dollars are going to go down. Like the pot of money will shrink. And so agencies like ours, we have 350 employees. We could potentially be half of that. If the funding, because it's all driven by funding covers salaries. If the funding shrinks, the people shrink. And that's just sort of reality. So it's going to be, the world of work is definitely, the next 18 months will be very telling. And when I came on the platform, it was just really to educate people and to say, not to scare people, but to say it is time to prepare. To prepare for that world that is going to come, whether we like it or not, and we can ignore it or not. Like every day and every week, not every day, because I'm in the house most of the time, because I work remotely most of the time. But literally every time I go outside, hey, Veronica, welcome in, I see a new AI advancement in place. And then I also watch a lot of YouTube and looking at Japan and China. Like in Japan, there are stores where robots work and there are no people. And you have like a wristband. So in the wristband, you walk in the store, it's the systems and technology and AI is tracking that. Okay, Rhonda just walked in. You grab the things off the shelf you want. It knows what you're grabbing because everything is barcoded, scanned, all of the technology. You walk out the door and everything is paid, like all your payment information is in that wristband too. And they're testing something like that out here in New York with Amazon Go. Not sure if you have Amazon Go in your cities, depending on where. Most big cities, they're testing it. Same philosophy. You walk in, I think you scan it's a similar to if you all have used the Whole Foods barcode with Amazon. It's similar to that. So they know who you are and they have all your information. You grab all the things off the shelf and you walk out. Same premise that Amazon is testing it here in New York. They announced it, and it's been a couple of years now. I feel like they announced it maybe 2 years ago, the Amazon Go store. So it's happening, like we see it. And if you look at Japan, you can you see the path of where AI is taking us. And we're behind as a country, compared to places like Japan, Dubai. I have a friend who's a teacher in Dubai. Hey, Shanae, welcome in. Who's in Dubai teaching. And they have basically, I don't want to call it, what are they calling them? Digital high schools, right? Because I was going to say they're not called AI high schools, they're called digital high schools. So my friend is actually transferring this fall, going to work from a traditional school where she is now to a digital high school. Digital high schools, they're called learning coaches, not teachers. The lesson plans and everything are delivered by an AI system on a computer. So the kids are sitting at a desk looking at a computer. If they raise their hand like you would do in a Zoom call, you hit the little button to raise your hand. Then the teachers, learning coaches, come on the screen to assist coaching them through, if their question or problem, helping them understand the material, where it's at. And they're doing that remotely. They're doing that at home. They're not even in the building. It's a teacherless, for the most part, a teacherless school system. Hey, Ben, welcome in. Yeah, the world of work is changing, and we just got to get prepared, folks. That's it. There's no way to sugarcoat it. And the reality is, this is something that I know and I have seen so many times. As much as I come on platforms like this and other people do too. Thank you, Ben, for that, Heart Me. And we talk about, folks, we need to get prepared because the world of work is changing and all that. Guess what? The majority of people won't. And then they will be scrambling, when the time comes. I'm good, Ben. How are you? Who watches the kids? So they're like proctors, short stuff. They're like proctors in the classroom. So more like think about your teacher's aides. So even from a financial standpoint, it's less money. Teachers aren't in the classroom. So you don't have to have as much, you're paying them. The teacher salary isn't really changing, but in Dubai, first of all, it's Dubai. So they have more money than God. Okay. It's crazy the amount of money they have over there. But yeah, so you have security, and you have basically, I want to say your parapros, your teacher's aide that are truly they're the behavior police. Literally, and escorting them from room to room, in Dubai, the genders are separated in classrooms. So the boys are generally on this wing and the girls are over there, but you're truly walking them from, class to class if they're moving classes. But yeah, teachers are not in the classroom. They are truly on a kiosk. And think about it, how many more people, even for them, my girlfriend is excited. Hey, when with Dr. Welcome in. She's excited for one to be remote and to not be doing the same thing all the time, because she's an English teacher. So it could be a 5th grader that pops on her screen with a question. The next question could be an 11th grader. And so, it's going to be real interesting. This will be her first year. So I'm definitely going to be taking notes and I'm going there next Christmas. This Christmas coming up. And I told her I'm going when she's still in school, because I want to actually see the school and see how they're really, and see what other ways they're using AI. I know she said that they're thinking about doing that in the lunchrooms too. And I've seen that watching the Japan documentary. Okay, Japan is just so advanced. So in hospitals, they have, instead of folks now that bring the meal carts around, the robots are delivering meals to patient rooms in hospitals, delivering even medications. They have these things. They look like, you remember mailboxes that used to be on the corners where you would drop, your envelopes in for, the mailman to come pick up. They look like that, but these are robots on wheels. So think about the Uber Eats, right? They're delivering delivering food. They're picking up your medication from the pharmacy, bringing it to your house. Like if you just YouTube AI in Japan, it is mind boggling. And they've even went as far as to create AI humans, y'all. It's about to get real crazy, okay? We got blow up dolls. Now we're gonna have AI dolls. Yeah, it's gonna get real wild up in here. Like the world is gonna get real crazy. They have this one class, the professor created an AI twin of himself and who's actually teaching the class. Now the students know that it's the AI twin, but to look at this, I watched the video and I'm like, I can't tell. Could not tell that wasn't a human. And that is where I feel like I'm all with technology advances, but I feel like that one there might be just crossing the line just a bit. Like, and so what will happen? Like, and I can go real dark, right? And I watch a whole lot of crime drama. I'm the Law and Order girl. But seriously, like, will you be able to have your AI twin commit a crime? Like, I mean, just think about, like, I'm in New York, okay? So listen, if there is a way for folks to do crazy well, it is right here in this puppy where I'm at, okay? So yeah, so I plan to be out of here. Next May, I am out of here because it's going to get real. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. And so I'm just saying for all of us, again, if you got a 9-to-5, that's great. If you don't think you're going to be impacted by AI, I'm hoping that's the truth and that's the case. Criminal attorney. Now, Short Stuff, let me ask you about that because my granddaughter wants to be a lawyer. Now, in our company, they're using some AI apps that are helping them write briefs. And I was like, well, I'm confused. Like, not to say that the legal field will go away, but there's a lot of, I don't think it's LexisNexis. I'm going to have to get the name of it because when they sent me the request when they wanted to do it, and I was like, well, if the AI system is doing the work, and I understand with any AI system, right, we have to feed it the information for it to spit it out. But if you're given the details and the system is writing the brief, do I need as many lawyers? Because we have a legal service center as part of our organization. Do I need a legal service center? Okay, it won't. Okay. So maybe I don't understand how it works, but that's sort of what said to me is, so does the system maybe help them crank out more work? Like, I don't know. Hey, Hookazum, welcome in. Okay, I will. Hey there, please talk to me about it.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay. So actually, it's very funny you should mention this because I start a new job for the judiciary in, I don't know, less than 2 weeks or maybe
Okay.
about 2 weeks.
Okay.
And I've already had to sign paperwork saying that we're not allowed to use AI at all.
Okay.
So this is judiciary specific. They are highly concerned about the issues. There's actually been an attorney that lost their license because they did use AI. Lexis is the first product
Okay.
that is allowing attorneys to use some AI. Now, when I went to law school, we learned how to search with specific keywords. Think SEO for lawyers inside a closed world of just legal briefs that's been vetted by other attorneys and stuff like that. They've implemented AI within Lexis, but it will not write the brief for you.
Okay.
Microsoft Word, other different providers also have like where you can upgrade the writing, the quality by implementing some of their suggestions.
Okay.
But you are liable as an attorney if something that you write then turns out to be a falsehood, because right now, even though AI is improving, it still hallucinates.
Exactly. I'm going, when I get to work today, I'm going to look at the softwares. I feel like Lexis is one, but I feel that there is another one that I want to say is writing the briefs. And I was like, should
I
we be
mean, let's
doing
go.
this?
Oh,
And and then what my fear was that, like, if so, like, we have a big legal service center, 55 attorneys, and no, 40 attorneys, 15 paralegals. Like, are the managers reviewing the briefs, you know what I mean, before they're filed? Probably not. With that many people, just sheer volume. So we work with undocumented minors.
okay.
And as you can imagine, with this administration, like, the work is
Oh my
fast and
God.
furious. And they did it to save time. But to your point, if it's not factual, and if the system is writing the brief, well, do I need 40 attorneys? I don't know. So these are like the things but I'm going to get the names of those software, because there's two different ones. Lexis is one, but then there's this other one that they said was writing briefs. And I talked to our CEO and said, we may have some challenges here that we need to work through. But we're private too,
No,
right? Yeah,
I would, yeah,
it's
I would
sticky.
say that for the attorneys writing the briefs, sorry, my service is going in and out, but for the attorneys writing the briefs, I would be very mindful
Okay,
of what's being written, and if you're not editing that afterwards, to make
right.
sure, double checking behind every single citation,
Yeah,
then you're putting yourself at a grave risk.
okay.
Especially since this is litigation. It's being filed.
Exactly.
It's going to be
Right.
fact checked
Okay.
by humans.
Yeah.
Secondarily, I
Right.
do not think the
Exactly.
judiciary is going to be quick.
Hmm.
I do not think the judiciary is going to be quick at all to
Right.
transition to anything that does not involve humans.
Yeah.
So any litigation attorney
Hmm.
is safe. Now, attorneys that do what's it called, contractual work,
Hmm.
that is a different story, because AI can create you a pretty good contract.
Well, yeah. Excellent.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's
So
gonna be interesting. Yeah, but I'm gonna definitely get the names of that, and I probably need to have a secondary conversation with our managing director of our legal service center to understand what actually is the system doing and what are the attorneys actually. And then, to your point, who's reviewing this? Because I don't know. I can't, like, today, I can't say that is definitely happening.
as somebody that has worked, so I'm a nonprofit girly as well. I'm now
Okay.
moving. I just started working for the state 2 years ago. I'm
Okay.
transitioning to another position within the state.
Okay.
So, but I've done years in nonprofit work.
Mhm.
So I'm very familiar with how that works. I
Okay.
mean, yes, you have a lot of people that are underpaid and overworked,
And most of
and
them, we're hiring lawyers right out of school. So, like, they're inexperienced on top of that because of the low pay. You know
right,
what I mean? No one else is going to take the job.
exactly. And
Yeah.
so it is prime real estate for people to want to cut corners.
Honors.
But
Right.
I mean, here's the thing: the liability will fall on the attorney, but there might be some blowback
Oh,
from the
yeah, on the
organization.
agency. Absolutely. Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
you
Yeah.
definitely want to be paying attention to this issue. So
Yeah, I definitely will. And now that you mentioned that, I'm gonna reach out to our insurance brokers too, just to make sure, like, see if we have any. I don't specifically remember when we renew, but if there were any new coverage lines, particularly causing, like, AI mistakes, if you will, sort of like, kind of like how we have directors and officers coverage, like, if they make a mistake, like, because to your point, yeah, like, the agencies could have some potential blowback. Absolutely.
and for what it's worth, you'll see at the end of every chat GPT conversation, it tells you, like, it makes mistakes, so don't take, like, so
Exactly.
they're covering themselves, like, so if you're not covering
Exactly.
yourself, you're cooked.
Right.
Because
Exactly.
like, you might want to bring in the deeper pocket, be like, it's their fault, and they're gonna be like, well, you should have
Yeah.
read the byline, you know what I mean?
Exactly. No, thank you. That was helpful. I'm definitely going to check into that. No, this was a great conversation. Thank you so much for coming up.
I will
Yeah.
definitely be reaching out to you, because
Yeah,
I
and
was
like I said, I'll DM you when I get the names of these two packages that we're using.
all right. Sounds
Thank
good.
you.
Thank
All right. Have a good day.
you
Thanks.
too.
Do you know how to drop down?
I do, but I'm
Okay.
driving, so
Oh, okay. I'll do it. All right, everybody. Thank you. Well, it is time I gotta get to work. But thank you all for stopping in today and hanging out. I say this at the end of my lives. I hope I've said something that have inspired you to want to take some action. Even if you haven't thought about sort of what that is, keep coming back. We're going to do all the things. We're diving into brand deals, digital products, and not even if you didn't want to do a digital product, how to take the knowledge you have and package it into something that you can create one time and you sell it over and over again. And that's the beauty of it all. Thank you all for the taps, the shares, the reposts, and anything you've done in this room and the support. And I will see you on the TikTok streets. Have a good day.